Hello there, Kanokarab here. I'm standing in a settler's wagon in a brand new world for this little intro here. We'll be coming back to this in a little bit. I want to show you what I've been working on lately. But first, we're going to go ahead and actually jump in and take a look at the recent results of the popularity questionnaire. So obviously we talked about it a long while ago, back when it was first introduced, and I showed you guys, we talked a little bit about some of the suggestions that were in there, and things like that. So I want to go ahead and do that again. See, we've had a lot more responses to it, some written, some just doing the multiple choice things. So let's take a look and see how the community has been growing and evolving the last little bit. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with looking through the multiple choice, and then we'll go to the individual tab to see all of the written responses that have been added since the last time that we spoke about all this. So as you can see, we now have 85 responses. I believe when I initially went over this, we had something like 30 or 40, which is pretty reasonable. Actually don't recall, I probably should have checked that. But regardless, let's take a look and see how the larger sample size is affecting the multiple choice. So our first question, how did you find New in Town? Still looking through Planet Minecraft for a new and interesting data pack is taking the lead. It is not the majority, but it is the minority majority, which is really nice. It means people know that data packs can do cool and exciting things, and they're looking specifically for that kind of thing, as opposed to the second most popular, which is still very good, browsing Planet Minecraft's updated data packs. So that is still a good reason to continue updating New in Town, because that is how a lot of people are finding me. A different YouTube channel has been growing quite a bit now, thanks to videos by Lars LP in Germany, Jazz Ghost in Brazil, Mathels in Indonesia, as well as many other YouTubers that, of course, are English-speaking, like Pastylia14 and Skunk Monkey and all of them. So this is, I'm sure, will only grow as we get more YouTubers playing New in Town. So please remember to bug your favorite YouTubers to do so. A little bit coming from my YouTube channel, which is nice. That means that my channel is growing, and New in Town is growing on YouTube. People are finding it, happening upon it, or perhaps searching for it, and then coming to the actual data pack themselves. And then we have a bunch of these other smaller ones. Twitter is a little bit. I've been being a little bit more active on Twitter, so that's going to contribute just a tiny bit, hopefully more in the future. We'll go over here for the rest of these. So still a little bit from the Minecraft commands or data packs Discord, and I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. New in Town was never available for Minecraft 1.14. Through Incendium, Reddit post, back when that was a thing. We've got a few for that, several for that. They just all wrote different things because, of course, this was made before that Reddit post, so I didn't have it as an option. Couple from word of mouth, which is cool, and then just shared Discords with me already. What's your favorite part of New in Town is our next one, and of course, massive lead is the modular settlement construction at 57.6% of all responses. So that is why, for sure, the town construction is seeing the most updates. It's getting the most done to it and done with it, and it will continue to do so. There will still be expansions for the Nether and the End, construction and events and structures and things like that. And of course, we'll continue to work on dimensions. But this is definitely what people come and stay for, I think. So it's where certainly most of the development is going to go. Next up, we have Following the Story. I'm happy to see that this is in second place, even if it is only 17.6%. This was, of course, I believe, only you only got one choice for this one. Might have been multiple choice. But it's nice to see that if people don't come for the settlement construction, they come for the story, because that's definitely where I put a lot of effort and time into New in Town. So it's good to see that still very large. Next is the Dimensions pre-release. Obviously, it is still a pre-release, and it isn't quite advertised as much or as well as the base New in Town, so it makes sense that it is a little bit lesser for the time being. Hopefully that will come to grow eventually as Dimensions starts to be completed, as the Tempest becomes more developed and a little more intertwined with the base New in Town. Frequent updates, obviously a great reason to stick around to find New in Town, but obviously the more updates that the settlement construction gets, the more people are going to be here for settlement construction as opposed to just the updates themselves. And then, of course, we've got a couple of write-in choices, all of it very fantastic. The freedom and survival aspect, very, very good. I like seeing that because obviously that's a big deal for me, making sure that New in Town fits in with normal Minecraft progression, doesn't detract from normal gameplay. Settlement part's what drew me in, but the frequent updates made me stay. That is an older one. Over in the newer responses, we have buildings that give infinite of something. That's fair. All the above, all, and then custom structure packs, which of course have been around for a little bit, but have been growing quite a bit since this quiz came out. So it's good to see that people like that they're able to find and create custom structure packs for New in Town, because that's a big deal for me too. Reasonable one. Obviously, the Let's Play series has died down for now. Probably won't be returning for a good while I work on development, dev diary videos like this one, and other kinds of New in Town and non-New in Town related content for the channel. Regardless, we do have the majority, or not quite majority, but minority majority who do say yes, which is great to see. And then still making up in total with that the majority. Many people have watched some, but don't keep up with it, which is very fair. Lots of episodes, they're longer episodes, and I know that I'm not necessarily the most interesting person to listen to, but I appreciate people checking in from time to time. And then we've got about 25% that say no, which is very fair. Let's Plays certainly aren't for everybody, and again, maybe not my Let's Plays either. Are you a member of the New in Town Discord? Obviously, this is great to see that it's so large in yes. There's 2 yes options for the yes, I have a role, and yes, but I don't have a role. Which makes sense. Not everybody's going to go ahead and diamond in favorite, and that's okay to get that settler's role. But it's good to see that still a good chunk of people do, more than a quarter, and there's only about a quarter of people that are not part of the Discord that were able to find this, probably coming from YouTube or seeing the link just on the Planet Minecraft page and answering it as they downloaded the pack. Written responses, like I said, we'll get to in the individual section because, of course, a lot of these are older and a lot of them are newer. So down here, we'll take a look at the updated graph here for this, where you were allowed to select multiple options. So still in the lead, I believe, is a big group of YouTubers playing New in Town SMP. That would be fantastic to see. I agree. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. Otherwise, of course, a big YouTuber playing New in Town would be great, but it looks like an official New in Town server has taken the lead, if I recall, over both of these options, and that is definitely something that I'd really like to get doing. As my Patreon count gets growing, I definitely want to work on getting an official New in Town server set up, but there's definitely a lot of logistics behind that. You know, with New in Town being a data pack, it needs to be on a Fabric or vanilla server. Meaning obviously we're not going to do vanilla, it need to be a Fabric server. So figuring out what mods to set up and if, you know, how much RAM we need. These are all things that I really know nothing about in terms of server management. So it's definitely a thing that I'm researching. I don't want you to think that it's not coming or that it is around the corner. But know that I too want an official New in Town server, and I want to make sure that it's done well and done right. Official New in Town merchandise has grown a bit. I just kind of threw that on here to see if there was interest. There's a little bit of interest, but not a ton. So maybe, you know, down the line, as the community starts to grow, as I get more Patreons, that's something that we can start to look into, either just for Patreons or as a separate shop. But I think it's something that would be interesting as New in Town continues to grow and as the channel continues to grow. Hololive New in Town is still is there from last time. I don't know what that is. Piglin related content, interesting. I don't know that that's really something that I want to or am able to do. Certainly, I don't know that it's in the spirit of New in Town. I think there would need to be some exploration of how that could work. I think I mentioned it in the Primordial Desert dev diary, but I wanted the piglins in the Primordial Desert to have different bartering loot tables, but since bartering is a global loot table, not an individual one like death loot tables, doing so would potentially make it incompatible with anything else that wants to do the same thing. So for that reason, I wasn't able to do that. If that changes in the future, then more interesting piglin content could come up, but I think for the time being, they are better treated as a separate entity for New in Town. And obviously this yes is we can ignore that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the individual. As I recall, I think we had about 40 responses last time we did this, so let's go ahead here and see. Let's see, so this looks familiar. We'll kind of keep scrolling through until I see something that's new. That looks older. Of course, I check this periodically, so some of them might seem older when they're actually fairly new. So let's see. Peaceful mode. This looks like it. No. I think this is what prompted me to make the church, the Grand Cathedral. But obviously didn't use it for this particular suggestion purpose. Let's see here. Placing, no, I think that is older. That's not helpful. Let's see. It's the same thing. That's interesting. Okay, I think we're caught up here, so we'll start moving forward through here. So, would like New in Town, or believe it's reached its full potential? I don't know about that. I think there's a lot more than New in Town can start to grow and do, and I think you'll find that even in this video. There's still plenty of design space to explore. Think eventually it would be better for it to be a 1.17 or 1.18 mod. I can tell you right now, I don't think that's going to happen. I have no modding experience at all. And to some extent, I think that making it a mod would betray the integrated feeling that it has with vanilla Minecraft, with normal Minecraft progression. You know, mods like Millionaire and the Tale of Kingdoms mod and what's the Mine Colonies. Those were all, at least in concept, those were all, at least in concept, inspirations for New in Town, but when I set out to make New in Town, I wasn't trying to make those as a data pack. I was trying to create my own concept, my own spirit of an experience. And I think I've accomplished that very well. So I think, you know, anything that a mod could do better than New in Town would also betray the spirit of New in Town. And then obviously that's a joke. Okay, let's see. Saw the update trailer with Railways, so yeah, this is fairly new. So happy about the rails. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Obviously, that's not what this question is for, but I'm glad that people are happy about the railroads, because that was a really cool thing to add for sure. That one is blank. Oh, come on. 54, thank you. These are in a different language. I suspect Portuguese. Based on context clues, this seems to be miners generate things automatically, which they already do, and make a Portuguese version. So I think I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it here as well. Unfortunately, due to the nature of New in Town, due to how intertwined New in Town is with, or the text is with the actual code for New in Town, and due to my hesitancy to add any kind of required resource pack for New in Town, because I think that turns away a lot of potential players. I don't think translation is going to be feasible. Certainly not just for me. You know, maybe down the line, if New in Town really does become self-sustaining, and I'm able to potentially hire a team or something like that to work with me, then that is something that could be explored. But due to how much the text is part of the code, how much the books and the prompts that show up on screen, they're written into the code. They are part of they're part of how New in Town works, not just a cosmetic effect. And because all of that changes so frequently, being able to maintain a translated version of even one language, much less multiple, would be very, very difficult for just me to do. Moving on. I don't know what those say. Those are blank. Anything would be awesome. Videos, I make videos already. Blank. A story for the Dimensions expansion of the Big Baddie, that is already in the works. The story is about the Illagers and their reasons for being evil and what they have been trying to do since whatever caused them to leave the Tempest. And then, yeah, a large YouTuber would definitely be really great to see. Let's see, an aircraft manifest, including hot air balloons, helicopters. So this is something that's definitely in the works. This is eventually, once Dimensions is completed, at least in terms of the Primordial Desert, the Buried Ocean, the Tempest, I want to add at least one more dimension, potentially many more down the line. But the next dimension that I think I want to do is much more of a sky dimension, even more so than the in-between is, and a lot more developed. And in that dimension, you will be able to make zeppelins or hot air balloons of some sort. That's definitely very far down the line, but that is something that I'm thinking of, something that I want to do. Mention the useful structures that give the player infinite resources. I mean, it's not a secret. That's blank. Oh my gosh, okay. Once a building addition's been added, can we get access to the blueprint? Oh, I know exactly who did this. So they want like the buildings to be able to be automatically repaired. That's something that would be very challenging to do, and I don't think in the spirit of New in Town. You know, you are supposed to protect your town, including from the Tyrant. And, you know, the Tyrant generates approximately 40 blocks away minimum, which is generally a pretty decent amount of space, as long as you're not really, really unlucky that he's not going to actually like appear in your town. He's not going to replace one of your buildings. His skulls might hit them, but you know, it's supposed to be a challenge and a threat and a danger. And thankfully, the structure of the buildings isn't important for their actual functionality. So I don't think this is something I'm going to be implementing. End vault is odd. Couldn't figure out how to add more boxes. Okay, so yeah, the box sometimes it just gets pushed by the piston and doesn't fall in the hopper. I mean, what can you do? But to put it back in, you know, you just need to, when you press the button, when the piston comes down and breaks the box, you can see the dispenser behind it. You can just right-click the dispenser, open it up, and plop the shulker box back in there. You can only do that while the piston's down, so while you're exchanging shulker boxes while it's rotating. But that's a way to add more shulker boxes if you want to. Let's see, getting on Minecraft Reddit was smart. That's where I first heard about it. Awesome. Let's see here. Yes and yes. Not very helpful. Players from more countries are playing New in Town. Yes, they are. And yeah, I've discussed the language situation. That one's blank. Blank. The written responses were optional. So that's why many of them are blank. Let's see. Oh, wait. I had a new settlement in the Tempest. Yeah, of course there will be. It just isn't implemented quite yet. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Quite a few that didn't fill anything in. I think the best thing would be compatibility with many mods and data packs. Well, in general, New in Town is compatible with other data packs that aren't themselves incompatible with things. You know, New in Town's a certified data pack. It follows data packing conventions. So in general, it's going to work with anything else that treats it with the same respect. You know, New in Town doesn't destroy any existing parts of the world as long as you start at the beginning. And the natural generating features are small and slight, and they're not going to completely annihilate anything unless you know, have built a very established world and then try to start the town literally in the middle of a city that you've built or whatever. So in general, it's compatible. It's possible you mean support, meaning, you know, almost like collaboration. And that's something that I'm working on exploring. The big thing is I don't want to require those data packs to have to be played with New in Town. I want New in Town to have that option to, you can play it alone or you can play it with a whole bunch of things. So that's kind of like the Doom Pump that was implemented for the counteroffensive for the Nether Fortress. If you build that, it is compatible with Incendium. It will collect biome-specific resources for Incendium biomes, which is really, really cool. But the only reason I was able to do that is because by chance, the way that loot tables work is those entries in the loot table for the Incendium biomes, they get ignored if Incendium isn't present. So you can still use the Doom Pump and play New in Town in a vanilla world if you don't have Incendium, and you'll still get biome-specific resources from the 5 normal biomes of Minecraft. But if you have Incendium, it expands upon the functionality. So if I add more New in Town or more support for other mods and data packs, I would want it to be done in that way. And there's not a whole lot of options beyond things like the Doom Pump to make that happen. I do want to make custom structure packs for other data packs like Floorcraft and things, but I think that's down the line. I want New in Town to be kind of standing on its own 2 legs first before we start really diving into many kind of packs like that. Levels and building variants, I'm assuming this means height variation for towns. I think I've said many times before that's something that I want to include, something that I want to be working on, and I'm exploring options for. But it's a complicated situation, and I don't want to have to rewrite more of the site planner setup functions than I have to get that to work. And I want it to be clear and obvious and in a way that is easily digestible for the player. Building variants is, I believe, I've also spoken about. I assume this means specifically with regards to like different wood types for recipes. That's also something that I don't think the base New in Town is going to incorporate at all, and something I want to leave up to custom structure packs. Now, whether I make those custom structure packs or other people do, that's just a matter of time. One or the other is going to happen, I think. But I want to leave that door open for anyone else to do that if they would like. Because I don't want to bloat the file size of New in Town too much, because making it so that there's a oak lumber mill like there is right now, but also an acacia lumber mill and a spruce lumber mill and a jungle lumber mill and all of that's 6 more recipes that I have to add, 6 more structures that I have to add. And it's going to be, I worry about confusing the player too, because all the long type has to match. You can't mix and match. It's just a fact, an unfortunate fact of how the New in Town recipes have to work, because they use advancements. If it was loot tables, that would be one thing, but it's unfortunately tricky to do building variants without significantly bloating file size. So I think that will be left to custom structure packs. Introduce more people to potential of data packs with some YouTube videos. Obviously, that's what I've always been trying to do with New in Town. I have plenty of New in Town YouTube videos, and I'll plan to explore more and, maybe make almost like a wine pairing video or several videos of other data packs that are really cool and involved and pair well when played with New in Town. Because I do want my channel brand to largely be focused on New in Town. Walls update. That's fair. That's something that's never really been brought up or brought to my attention that people are interested in, but is something that could be looked at down the line. Theoretically would be very simple depending on exactly what people like. So leave a comment if you have any thoughts on what a walls update might look like to you. Let's see, collaborations with other YouTubers. Yeah, of course. That doesn't say anything. Oh my goodness. It would be cool if Kingdoms got friends if there was a quest hunter villager. You'd get 1 quest per day in which you'd have to bring him an item or kill a mob for a mystery bundle which could contain random loot varying from vegetation to ores to even gear. You bring a quest item to the quest hunter, leave it in a special chest, it disappears and gets replaced with a mystery bundle. That is interesting. I don't know that would necessarily need to be a different structure. That could be a change for the Adventure Guild down the line. That's something to consider. I would not be against something like this. If other people are interested in it, I think that could work very well. Besides big YouTubers reviewing the data pack, don't think there's another efficient way. Yeah, you're probably right, but start a Puglet server. Oh my gosh, okay. I love these big ones, but I'm not expecting them. The main thing would be structure-based. Yeah, other wood types. I've talked about that already. Increase the castle size at the end of each major story segment. The only reason that I don't do that is because of the way that I have the castle hallways link up with each other. There's a reason that it's recommended that you build all your castle frames before you start upgrading them. And it's because if you build a castle frame, upgrade it, and then build the next castle frame, and upgrade that, the second castle wing will have a hallway leading to the first one, but the first one will not, because it didn't know there was a castle wing there to link to. So I don't know there's a really better way to do that, because I don't want new structures to affect the sites of existing structures, affect the construction of them, because I don't want to break anything that the player has already built there, if they've made any edits to the structure or anything like that. So I don't know that there's really any elegant way to make that happen. Yeah. Dirty Tactics release a few clickbait style videos to draw people in. Yeah. 100 Days in Newintown to bring a lot of people in. It's very popular. Yeah, but it also takes a long time to film. I mean, I guess I haven't really watched any 100 Days videos, but I would think that it would be, I mean, I just spent 100 days playing it, and I feel like at that point I might as well just do a Let's Play. But I guess it makes sense to shorten it down into one video. Short structure highlight videos would potentially do well. That's something to consider. Yeah, like 5 minutes video detailing each structure. The only thing about that is that YouTube rewards slightly longer videos, about 10 minutes. But I could squeeze in like 2 or 3 structures into a video and make it a good 10-minute video. That could be either paired with the starter guide videos, or just completely separate with them. That's something to consider. Let's see, not helpful. Ooh, pardon me. I'd really like to see an extension to the counteroffensive where you build a bastion remnant alongside your nether fortress. That doesn't really make sense for the story of Newintown, in particular because that would require an entirely new set of structures. But also bastions are where piglins live. You know, they're piglin structures, and they're remnants because they're ruined. So, you know, there might be a way to build a bastion, maybe, but I don't think that fits with the story of Newintown. You're building another fortress because nether fortresses are built by people. They're built by, the original ones were probably built by the ancient builders. And so it makes sense that you would build one as well in your quest to defeat the tyrant. And then, yeah, get big YouTubers to play it and review it. I want to speak on this real quick because it does come up. And I actually don't know that I've been super transparent about it. I am very frequently emailing big YouTubers. And, you know, telling them, you know, this is what Newintown's about. This is how popular it is. And this is why I think it would be good and relate to your content, you know, your brand. I think that would be, you know, this is my suggestion, my humble request. You know, play Newintown, do a showcase video, do 100 days in, do a Let's Play if you have the time in your schedule. And I don't get many responses, which isn't surprising, you know. And I don't want to harass these people because I know they've got their own schedule and their own idea of what what their brand is and does. But I do reach out, and I don't get a lot of responses. So there's not a whole lot more that I can do. The major thing that you guys can do to help with that is bug YouTubers yourselves, you know, in the comment section, on Twitter, if you already have their attention with something else or whatever. You know, because they're going to listen to a decently large audience, or at least a vocal audience, more than a creator, I think. All right, we'll continue. Only a couple more. Totally great with the direction Newintown's heading. Invest in advertisement. Man, I would love to. And yeah, okay. So yeah, I think that is the end of the questionnaire here. So I will keep this up, of course. The link will be in the description below as usual. Continue, please, to add your thoughts to it. You know, I check this frequently, as I said. And I'd like to continue to build Newintown, as I see the spirit of Newintown. But I do want to listen to the community. And I hope you'll see that, if you've stuck around this far, definitely continue to stick around, because the rest of the video I think you're going to be very happy with. Okay, I hope you stuck around through that questionnaire. I guess I didn't really say at the beginning that you should stick around, because the content that I've got in-game for you is definitely worth it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and hop out here. So I've started a little bit of a town already. We've got our mine over here. And if we just turn on over here... What's this? What could this be? A ramp? A ramp up to a lumber mill? on a different level from your wagon? Stairs up to a farm on a hill? That is right, guys. I have been, racking my brain trying to figure out an elegant way to make multi-level town support that is easily digestible for the player, easy to incorporate into the existing site checking systems that I have in place, and I'm pretty happy with how things are turning out. This is still very early on in the process, but I think there's a lot of design space that this can go and explore. So right now there are two kinds of ramp structures. We've got a gradual incline, or gradual decline, I should say. So we've got gradual ramps. They're made mostly of wood, and they have themselves two kind of plot structures. So you'll see these ramps are staggered because this is an up ramp. So when you build an up ramp, you get your ramp up to another site, another basically empty plot kind of situation. It's up by 3 blocks, so it's 3 blocks above whatever layer you're currently at, and it'll have site planners on either side in the front, or any side that's available. So for example, if I built this empty plot afterwards, but if this empty plot were already here, then this site planner would not be here. So then you build around over here and say you want to go down again. So then you build a down ramp. So then the down ramp immediately takes you down, and then you have site planners at the new level 3 blocks below. So there's no site over here, so we get a site planner right there. But there was already a mine here, so no site planner here, and there's already a ramp here, so no site planner right there. Similarly, we have the stairs. Right now I just have upstairs right here, but there's also downstairs as well, which work the same way. So since these stairs were built up, the stairs are immediately in front of you when you build it. You can climb on up here and get to a new site that has new site planners. This is 7 blocks higher than whatever layer you're currently at. And then if we were to go ahead and build a down one again, let's go ahead and do that right here. So advancement, grant at S only, Nick recipes, ramp. Oh, recipe, ramp. Can I do it right, please? Thank you. Stairs down. Then we would get some stairs that are immediately in front of us, and they would have a new site, a new basically empty plot with new site planners 7 blocks below. And since there's already an empty plot here, no site planner right here, but we do get site planners there and there. So I am so far pretty happy with how this is working out. So this looks actually, I think, really cool. It adds a little more depth and intrigue to your town. Obviously, you're able to do multi-levels already. Is it getting to be dark? Do day fall. Oh, false time set 5,000. There we go. So obviously, you can set your town on multiple levels. So we've got this right here. Now, one thing I will say, and you know what? Might change it slightly so that it does work. But if I were to build like an up ramp right here, it would not line up with this right here. Since this is 7 and that's 3, or since this ascends 7 and that ascends 3. But maybe I will make this ascend 6 instead, because I think that would make a little bit more sense and keep things in line. I also plan to have railroads have ramps, and unlike normal town structures. So like, for example, if you were to build, a whole bunch of ramp structures way up here, it would look really ugly. But if you did that and then you turned around and tried to build something way up here, but in this slot right here, you couldn't do it. And I'm going to keep that way. But for railroads, I think I am going to make it so they can kind of wind under each other. You still wouldn't be able to run straight through one, but like if you had, say, a straight rail, let's do an example. Let's go over here. So if you had, say, a straight rail going this way, and you had another straight rail that you wanted to take through it, then you could build, say, a down rail and then go underneath. There we go. Or an up rail and go over it, and then a down rail again to get back on the same layer. So that's something that I do want to incorporate as well. Yeah, I mean, is there much more that I have to say at this point? This is, I know, something that people have been really excited for and asking for a long time. and I've been really thinking about for a long time and trying to find a good way to do it. And I wasn't sure if there was going to be a good way to do it. But when I was changing the code for the portals in my attempt to make them more consistent with each other, which I'm not sure if it worked or not, but in my attempt to do so and make portals a little more reliable and able to find existing portals a little bit better so they don't overlap, things like that, I realized that there is a better way. There is a very good way to be able to check sites. So if we go ahead and dig down in here, there is no bedrock anymore. There's no bedrock under the town, under each plot. Instead, it's an entity. If we go ahead actually and give p command, let's do this real quick. Repeating and execute as at e type equals marker at s run particle electric spark, because I think that is cool. Okay, so we did that real quick. So if we come over here, there's marker entities inside of the hoppers, of course, so they're sparkling. But if we come over here, there's one right down there. And if we were to actually go in spectator mode underneath, we've got one under the wagon, we've got one under the mine, we've got one under all of these structures. So that is how structures, existing sites are now detected. Oh. So instead of looking for the bedrock block, it looks and sees if there is a site already present there. And the nice thing about this is, depending on the situation, I don't know that it's completely foolproof, but if another player were to start a town, say right over here, obviously that's not possible, but it wasn't on the same axis, it wasn't aligned with the town. If you got close enough, if you build something like right around here and the border ends up being like right here, a new site planner would not generate right here. Yeah, say this grass block right here is where the site planner would have been, it wouldn't be there anymore because it can see that there is a existing site already present in this location, I think. Not entirely sure. Regardless, it's a really great system for allowing multi-level plot support. So I think I'm going to bring this down so that it only goes up 6 blocks instead of 7. But regardless, I hope everyone is happy with the way that I incorporated this and made it work. I think it's going to be really, really great for just adding more variety to your town and helping you design your town, lay it out how you'd like. And I hope it also shows that I do listen to you guys and that I do want to make New in Town special for everybody, and listen to the community and bring about those awesome changes that you guys think of and awesome ideas that you guys think of. But sometimes it's hard and sometimes it takes time. So I hope that you appreciate that I do want to make New in Town special for everybody. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you right now. Like I said, this is still very early concept. There's lots that still can change. But please know that I am working on it, and it's possible. It's coming. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, please remember to leave a like and share with your friends, as well as to subscribe to keep an eye on when new videos come out. When the update video for multi-level town support comes out, I'll probably be talking more about it in a future Dev Diary video. And then I've got some other content down the pike that I think will be very interesting for you all, so I hope you'll stick around for that as well. With that said, thank you again so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.